Well, welcome to the start of this 49th Luge World Cup season, the latest step on what's been a really remarkable journey for this remarkable sport. We're in Winterberg in Germany for the first of 9 World Cup weekends on 7 different routes in 4 countries. And this, of course, is an extra special year because it's an Olympic year as we head to Milan Cortina in February for 6 magical days, certainly in terms of the luge anyway. And of course, they mean so much to this sport as it's really thrust into the global spotlight. Well, we're going to start today in Winterberg with the mixed races, the doubles and then the singles. And then tomorrow we have the women's singles and the men's and women's doubles, that new Olympic event before. On Sunday, we've got both runs of the men's singles and the brilliant fun of the team relay. That rounds things off. There is plenty to keep us busy, and they've done an unbelievable job with this course because we had to move at quite late notice from Igls to Winterberg. Winterberg now hosting 2 events in this World Cup season. And what a job they've done to get things ready. The weather conditions not always ideal. The ice looks just about perfect. Now we head to the start area. We can see the athletes preparing the sleds, the teams around them, so crucial. And we're going to talk you through the dimensions of every single challenge that awaits our sliders. They are different, these challenges, depending on event. But as a base, let's remember that the men's singles course is 1,324 meters long and has a drop of 110 meters, featuring the famous Veltins Kreisel, the labyrinth down at the bottom. They're going to simply rock it down there. And one thing that you really notice in terms of changes, not just with this sport, but with so many sports, is this dynamic stretching now. It becomes very important part of things. In the old days, well, in the old days, athletes wouldn't have stretched, but now it's not just old-fashioned stretching, it's the dynamic stretching that many of you will be used to in gyms all around the world that gets the blood flowing through the muscles and gets these athletes ready, because they are athletes and it's going to be such a big challenge for them. It lasts sometimes less than a minute. These runs, including the build-up, 3 minutes, something like that. It takes so much out of you physically and mentally. The athletes who can compete in singles and doubles on the same day are truly extraordinary. It's such an explosive sport, so much to do with concentration, the tiny nuances of technique as well that make the best the best. There's that Egger Müller sled as they get themselves ready. And remember, this one of the very few sports that is timed down to 1,000th of a second. That is how tight the margins can be in the luge. We're going to have the mixed doubles event then getting underway very shortly indeed. It will be the Slovakians who go first in that. It will be men followed by women in the mixed doubles, but of course all of the athletes preparing themselves. What we're going to do in a moment as well is take a look at the challenge that lies in wait for all of these athletes. I should tell you, of course, we had the Nations Cup earlier on today, which is a qualifying event for the weekend for men's and women's doubles. If you wanted to know more, by the way, about dynamic stretching, there you go. Getting everything mobile, getting all those muscles fired up. And core, of course, beyond vital in luge in terms of your balance and so on. Upper body strength absolutely key as well, and we can see exactly that's what's happening here. I love the way you can adapt routines with bands everywhere you go around the world. They fit in your suitcase, and if you want to, you know, get involved in that strength training and stretching and so on in hotels, if you're traveling around the world, you don't need all the fancy kit. You might need to take a medicine ball with you, but you don't need all the fancy kit. You can get it going yourself. Yeah. So in the men's doubles in the Nations Cup earlier on, it was Chmielewski and Gankarczyk who actually go very quickly in this mixed event in a few moments' time from Poland. The Slovakians, Bosman and Mick, and then Jäger and Studt, who don't qualify because there's already enough German pairs in the event. Brunner and Weissensteiner, the Italian pair, the men, they qualify. Martinovski and Babora of Ukraine, as well as Panchuk and Mutz of Ukraine, and Batgalvis and Yaksiboga of Latvia also made it through. No huge surprises. The Nations Cup not as testing as it can be. And in the women's doubles, Riedel and Lek, of course, one of 2 sets of sisters who go in women's doubles. They won. Lena and Anna in this case, Anda Upita and Madara Pavlova. We're going to see them in the mixed in a moment, along with Lena and Anna Podolski and Alan of Canada, and Praksova and Spitsova of Slovakia, who we're going to see the very first run in these mixed doubles. They also made it through in the Nations Cup. Now then, let's take a look at Winterberg, and let's remind ourselves, silly though it might sound, remember, we're broadcasting here not just for all you luge fans, but for the uninitiated as well. This course isn't in isolation in a city. This goes down a steep mountain, 11 corners, as you can see, a drop of 110 meters. There is our start, and this is what lies in wait. There's that Veltinskreisel, the 270, and then they head down towards that labyrinth. From turn 9, the speed picks up, the task becomes that much harder. And what we're going to be able to do is take a point of view look at the run that lies in wait before we can get things underway. And this is the point of view. In fact, I'm going to let this run for you so you just get an idea of the challenge that lies in wait for these athletes. You can see the kilometers per hour, and you can see the weight load as well, the G-force on these athletes. And let's just sit and watch and wonder really at what they do. So there you have it, the weather conditions, humidity 99%, 5.5 meters per second wind. The temperature is crucial, of course, and you can see those figures right there. So it is going to be the mixed doubles, look at that, as they continue to prepare this track. 970 meters, the length of this course, vertical drop of 9.8%, 11 curves on the doubles course. And here's our start list. Slovakia will get things underway, then Poland, then Latvia's second sled, followed by Austria 2, Romania and Ukraine. Latvia 1, then go Italy, Germany 2, Austria 1, and then Germany 1. Lovely atmosphere all around the place. The start of a season is always a good place to be. Last year, remember, as we moved to the men's singles on Sunday, Max Langenham was the name that absolutely dominated the men's event. Julia Taubitz, who goes later in the mixed event, Vendel and Alt, the men's doubles, and Egler and Kipp, the women's doubles. They were our champions in the World Cup last season, and in Olympic year, people already talking about who the favourites are. Good to see a Dukla Prague top supporting the Czechs and indeed the Slovaks, who get things underway. Now, I'm delighted to say that with absolutely impeccable timing, the two-time Olympian Mark Hatton, who's going to be our guide throughout this campaign, is joining me, and perfect timing. We've seen the ice conditions, we've seen the glorious surroundings. Now we're seeing Thomas Vavacek and Matej Smee, who didn't finish at the event here in January. 11th they were after the first run, 15th in that Olympic test event, and they've got the honor mark of getting the season underway.
Absolutely, Dave. Vavacek and Smee, we've seen them slide a lot over the last few years. Very accomplished team from Slovakia. They're going to be paired with Praksova, Spitsova, these athletes from the High Tatra, the Wintersport's hotbed out in Slovakia. So to open up the proceedings for this massive Olympic season here in Winterberg.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that,
Vavacek.
about how big the Olympics make it, and we'll see Vavacek and Smee get underway. They're known, these two, for that dramatic run in Beijing when they had a terrible error, pretty much a crash, and still finished 13th. They've had Nations Cup wins as well. And Mark's going to talk us through this run and give us an idea of what we're looking out for.
That first tricky curve, curve 4, into 5-6 now. As we come into the Kreisel, this is a 270-degree curve. Really important for the athletes to carry as much speed. Now, the thing about Winterberg, it's kind of slow at the top, what we're seeing now, but as they go into 9 here, this is a signature curve on the course. It starts to get really exciting as they come to the entrance to the labyrinth. They're going to be hitting about 125 kilometers an hour here, just knocking onto Zeal curve. But as they go on that uphill section through the finish line, and crossing the finish line, hitting the pad, they hit the pad and release Praxova and Spitsova.
Yeah, Praxova and Spitsova, 17th in that Olympic test event, 13th here back in January. They were 5th in the under-23 Euros in that race within a race, both 19 years of age, born within 5 weeks of each other, and now they follow this Slovakian charge.
It's a beautiful, smooth Kreisel from Praxova Spitsova. And nicely into 8. It's putting together a great run here, these two. As they should finish just outside the medals in the Nations Cup this morning, in 4th place as they come up to the labyrinth. 12-13, little skid into 13, but deal with it nicely, and a power slide into finish curve. That's going to scrub a ton of time off that uphill curve. So now they've got to lie as flat as possible as they cross the finish line, hit the pad, and open up the proceedings with a 1:37.682.
Yeah, you could see the disappointment there, that mistake. We could see it so clearly. They know all about it. We could take a look at it, the replay of the runs here. Slovakia get us underway. It feels great, doesn't it, to have the season underway as well? Something so exciting about it. But let's take a look back at that.
You know, Dave, Praxova Spitsova on that last run, they were putting together a beautiful run, and just that mistake in finish curve, as you see Vavacek Smee getting thrown up high in the air, but this is that power slide into Zeal curve. Thing is that when you're going uphill, it's a massively uphill curve, probably the steepest curve on the tour, and once you lose that speed, you just can't get it back.
Still see the disappointment there, the sort of rueful smiles. 1:37.682. It's the Poles next, Chmielewski and Gankachik. We've already seen them go. They won the Nations Cup event earlier on. 14th in that Olympic test event. Chmielewski, the veteran who previously partnered Kuba Kovalevsky in 2 Olympic Games. This a new partnership with Michal Gankachik. Let's see how they go. Important to get this start right.
Been incredibly good sliding from Garnicic, who has stepped into, as you say, Kovalevsky and Chmielewski. You know, they were together for so long, and to step in Olympic year and be sliding the way they have been, winning gold in the Nations Cup this morning. Just great sliding as Poland goes straight into the green. As they exit Kreisel, very smooth line round Kreisel, and a nice 8-9. Not getting bumped away from 9, as we say, 9, the signature curve, 9-10. As you can see, it's almost one curve put together, but it's actually 2, as they get into this very tricky labyrinth section, just bumping onto 13, but they handle that beautifully by staying relaxed on the sled. This should keep them in the green as they cross, sit up, hit the pad, and release Domovic. Piskova.
Yeah, Domovic, the 23-year-old, the student. They're both students, Pivkoska and Domovic, 5th in the girls' doubles at the 2020 Youth Olympics. They've shown some form, 12th in that Olympic test event. They were top 10 after the first run, and they've started well here.
Yeah, that Olympic test event, I think, for them was a real highlight to start the season. And again, Nations Cup this morning as well for Chmielewski Kovalevsky. So Poland on a really good road here, staying in the green. As you see, they link that 9-10 transition just beautifully. As we get to the entrance to 12-13. Again, just going a little onto 13, but handling it beautifully. Big skid going into finish curve, but they managed to just stop the skid enough. I think they're going to stay there, but they've got to stay flat, sit up right at the last minute, and they do, into 1st place. Poland with a 1:35.869.
Yeah, the Slovakian team watching on, but they knew. They knew after that mistake down in the labyrinth that was going to happen, I think. So the Poles do move into the lead. All smiles from them. Of course, there'll always be conversations about things that you can improve, but it was notable to see how the women's doubles team dealt with that skid. And actually, it was something similar to Slovakia, but they just dealt with it so much better, didn't they? There's the touch and the changeover. Of course, still early moments in the season as well. Things are going to go wrong.
Absolutely, and you look at the changeovers as well with the pad. You know, for a lot of these athletes, they don't get a chance to practice this that often. If they have a home track, maybe they'll set up a session where they can train on the pad. But for a lot of these athletes, they maybe hit that pad 8 or 9 times in a season, if that. So a lot of them are figuring this out on the fly.
Now then, Latvia 2 go next. Bots and Pluma, Upita and Pavlova. Bots and Pluma had an interesting time in that Olympic test event. They were 5th after the first run, then 13th in the second. They lost time at the bottom of the course. Good form here at Winterberg last season. Bots from Sigulda, the hotbed, of course, of Latvian luge. Pluma based in Baltazes. Second last year in the World Cup overall standings. These two high class. Let's see if they can stay in the green and set it up for Upita and Pavlova.
Big, powerful starters, Bots and Plume. World Championship silver medalists in Whistler last year. And Bots and Plume have had a wonderful season last year. I know they've had a very, very good summer, as do all the Latvians with their fantastic program they've got set up, just bumping onto the entrance of 4. That sets them up very nicely for 5. Very slow top section on this very tricky Winterberg course, and you can see the ice just starting to frost up. It's losing its sheen, so these start positions are going to be really important. But Bots and Plume putting together those workman-like runs that we saw all of last season.
Yeah, 4th in the men's doubles in Beijing, bronze there in the team relay. They've had some big World Cup wins. We're getting to real class acts here. No surprise to see them in the green so far. See if they can keep up this form as Upita and Pavlova wait to take over. Upita vastly experienced, even though she's only 25 years of age. Pavlova, the newcomer, at just 17 years of age. Latvia 2 go.
Start curve there from the Latvian women's doubles pairing. You just saw them bump on, get knocked away, but again, if you can drive in Sigulda, you can drive anywhere in the world. So you're fixing those mistakes. But talk about survival skills in this sport, and those survival skills are so well honed on a track like Sigulda.
I love your luge catchphrases. We're going to be getting used to them over the course of the season. If you can drive in Sigulda, you can drive anywhere. They're driving pretty well here.
It's a nice smooth labyrinth. There's a tricky entrance into finish curve, just going a little early, but dealing with it beautifully. They're going to carry this across the line, I'm pretty sure. Waiting to the last minute, 135.078. That's Latvia into first place.
Yeah, that's really good as well, isn't it? That was quick from Latvia. All smiles from them. It's a big challenge coming next, though, as we'll see in a moment. But let's look through this, Mark.
Yeah, this start curve, this is Bots and Plume. Just bumping on a little early, but these guys are so good. They have so much experience. And you see them waiting right to the last minute to hit that pad. Some athletes hit it with one hand, some make sure by using 2. It's personal preference, but you just see that 9-10 transition there, almost getting tipped over. I didn't spot that in real time, but that could have been disastrous for Latvia too. But again, those survival skills, absolutely top draw.
All smiles, big smile in particular from Madara Pavlova. Now then, Austria 2, Stoy and Kindle, Egler and Kip. This is high class. 4th here in Winterberg last season. World Cup overall champions, 23-24. 2 remarkable athletes, these two. Let's see if they can lay down a marker.
You know what, Dave, it comes to something when you're an athlete like Wolfgang Kindl and you're in Austria 2 and not Austria 1. That just shows the depth that this Austrian team has got. Austria just having such an incredible past few seasons, really becoming such a dominant nation again in the sport. Not that they ever left. Just bumping on early to start curve there. Stoy Kindl. Thomas Stoy, Olympic bronze medalist with Lorenz Koller. And you think that when a pairing like that breaks up, it's going to take a while for them to get to be world class again. But Wolfie Kindle just jumped on the back of Thomas Stoy's double sled, and they picked up where they left off with some of those World Cup podiums last season. 9-10 looking good there from Stoy Kindle. Here we go into the labyrinth. That's 12-13. This is the smoothest we've seen so far. Lovely unroll from Kindle to make sure they're not going too early to the finish curve as they lie flat last minute. Hit the
time is outstanding, isn't it? Here come Egler and Kipp, back-to-back world champions in women's doubles in Altenberg and Whistler. They should back this up. Let's take a look at the start.
That tricky curve 4 again, catching out Egel, Kipp, and you know, as a team, they're such a dominant women's doubles team, and it shows that that curve 4 for the doubles is such a tricky curve and such a banana skin on this track.
But they're cruising at the moment in terms of the time. Split's really good here from Egler and Kipp.
A little high in the entrance 12 there, but they're holding on to it. Great save from Kipp there as she throws back the shoulders. Coming through the finish line, let's hope they keep in the green. They do. Oh, by almost half a second. Take a bow. Austria 2.
Yeah, they can only watch and laugh and smile at the brilliance, and they will appreciate the brilliance of that save. It was so clear to see, and it didn't seem to cost them that much time. Outstanding run from both of them.
And you know, they had such a lovely curve 11, beautiful flat line, but just dropped out and just got bumped away from curve 12. And once you do that, you're playing catch up because those labyrinth curves come so fast, one after the other after the other. Here we see just hanging on to the end of 13, a little bit of a skid into the finish curve, but dealing with it beautifully. You see them go here, they're still carrying a ton of speed despite that mistake in the labyrinth.
Takes some doing to maintain the speed like that with a big mistake. So Austria 2 lead from Latvia 2 from Poland and Slovakia. Now Romania go next. Two big hitters going early. Because even though it might be Latvia 2 and Austria 2, we will all learn over the course of a season that that's still extremely high standard. Forget the 2 in brackets. Romania, Gitlan and Serban, 5th in Beijing in 2022, 20th in that Olympic test event, 18th here in January. And they go for Romania.
As you say, Dave, it's such a high quality field. Curve 4 working out pretty nicely for them with that early entrance. They seem to miss out the whole of the curve as they go into 6, smooth out of 6 into the Kreisel, the Veltins Kreisel, another one of the many signature curves on this track. Smooth into 8. And now 9, as you see this yellow-orange telegraph pole, you just can't see it there, but that's the steering point for these athletes. As they're putting together a beautiful smooth run here. This is the nicest labyrinth we've seen. Middle into the finish curve, but that sets them up very nicely. What a smooth run from Gitlan Serban.
Stramaturaru and Manolescu, who wait over a second behind, but the 40-year-old Stramaturaru in her 3rd full season with Manolescu after giving up the singles. And Manolescu, a luge soldier as they call them, here as her partner.
And Raluca, I mean, she's been in this sport for so many years, so much experience. And when you take that single experience, jump on top of a double sled, you know, when you have those years of experience, those multiple Olympic finishes, to finish, a 7th place finish in the Pyeongchang Olympics, a huge highlight for her. But big skid into 13 and power slide into the finish curve. But managing still to carry a bit of speed, showing every bit of that experience. Now keep it together, Raluca, as she sits up, hits the pad, over the finish line, back into 4th Romania. 2.5 seconds back from that imperious run from Austria 2.
Yeah, you could almost sense the disappointment in the body language there. Although all smiles, of course, aware that we're still very early on in the journey of the season.
And that communication between the doubles, so important. You know, when they're fixing mistakes, it has to be instinctive. They have to know what the other one is doing exactly to the thousandths of a second. You see them just getting out here, dropping the feet, dropping the anchors, just making sure, stabilizing the sled. When you drop your feet, it costs you a little bit of time, but it does stabilize the sled and keeps you going and keeps you shiny side down.
The challenge of singles, not enough for these athletes. They need the extra communication issue as they hurtle down this track. I think me and Mark need to talk about the sort of characters involved at some point.
They're unique.
Extraordinary people. Ukraine next. Igor Hoy and Nazary Kashmar, 19th in that Olympic test event that I keep referencing, but there's a bit of cynicism around some of the positioning in that. What athletes do and don't want to do. They certainly wanted to get a feeling of Milan Cortina, that's for sure. So Hoy and Kashmar to lead them off here. See what kind of start they can produce. Such an important part of the whole process, this. Now the explosion.
Just going down the right-hand side of the ramp. That's not great for them. You want to be a little bit further left so you can cut into that start curve. But they made a great save there, straight away down the start ramp. Back by just 0.2 of a second at this point from Austria 2.
Although Austria 2 were very, very quick, weren't they? So see what Ukraine can do in this section, Mark.
Putting together a very clean run here. As we go through 9-10, lovely 9-10 connection there. Those two curves so close together, they almost make up one curve. Nice peak in 12-13. That's a beautiful labyrinth from Ukraine. Come out of the Zeal curve, just a little tap on the left board. Is that going to cost them? Crossing the finish line and releasing Stetsky Mo.
Yeah, Stetsky and Mo, 10th here in Winterberg in January, 13th in that Olympic test event. It's a good run that from Hoy and Kashmar. Let's see what Stetsky and Mo can do.
Every last bit of time out of these curves. Smooth round 11, that's a nice 11-12 transition. Just bumping on though. Managed to save that mistake out of 13. As they come up through that Zeal curve, just tapping that left wall again, set up a bit of a resigned hit of the bag to stop the clock in a 1:36.371.
Yeah, so fourth for Ukraine. Plenty of excitement around. Latvia 1 coming next. That smiles from the Ukraine team. It's funny, isn't it? After the long wait for everything to get underway. I know we had the Olympic test event. I know we had the Nations Cup this morning, but it bursts into life so quickly, doesn't it? And it's a sport that hurtles by.
You know, there's nothing like a World Cup, and especially the World Cup opener. And Stefan Piper, the track boss here, Hans-Jürgen Kohner, the organizing committee leader, they've done such a great job at such short notice to give us a world-class field of play for this opener in Winterberg. And Winterberg not known for its good weather.
Now then, Sevic, Mikhelsevic and Lucas Krast to go. A place ahead of Bots and Plumer in that Olympic test event. They didn't finish their second run here at Winterberg last season. They've been 15th after the first run. European Championship bronze in Sigulda in 2023 when Latvia had silver and bronze. Fourth in the men's doubles in the World Championships in Altenburg. These two, very good.
Well, we've got a real battle, inter-team battle here between Latvia 1 and Latvia 2. Both, like I say, such high-class athletes and only 200ths back at that split from Austria 2. This is going to be tight.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth there. Not much difference between these Latvia sleds. And there will be an awful lot of competition between them, won't there?
It really will. That inter-team competition is sometimes more intense. than competition with other nations, being the best in your nation. Little skid into 14 there. We're seeing a lot of people skidding into 14. It's a very tricky section for the doubles because the curves come so quickly at nearly 130, 135 kilometers an hour.
And it's Marta Roberts-Nitze and Katia Bogdanova, 6th in the Olympic test event, 5th in Winterberg. In January, they go very well down this course.
Definitely a younger team, but they've come up from the junior ranks and they're really looking so comfortable in the World Cup now. And they're picking up a bit of time, just back by a 10th.
Really good run, this isn't it, from them?
This is going to be close between the two Latvian teams, but that skid's going to cost them. Sideways into the finish curve, high in the entrance. That is disaster for Latvia 1. Still trying to keep it together at the finish curve as they hit the paddle into 4th place for Latvia 1.
And when you consider, Mark, with that mistake that then was compounded by others, and they still finished 4th, what they've just given away, because they were flying down there.
Now, take the words out of my mouth. They were absolutely charging down that course, weren't they? And everything looked so good right up until that exit 12, and they just had that little skid, and it just compounded into that huge power slide into the finish curve. See them just sliding around 13 there, then feet down the curve into the finish curve, and you see them almost go up to the roof in the entrance here. Big plume of ice coming out the back of the sled, doing a very good job to stop it from hitting the roof there, just driving hard down, but they're going to be so disappointed with that.
The recovery skills, truly remarkable, because they were seemingly done for there. Now then, I think you might have to talk us through Italy, because Italy, very much with due respect to the athletes here, do not have their A-team here, do they? Because they've decided to go and focus on Milan Cortina and try and get themselves used to that. It is such a big year for Italian winter sports. Of course it is. Brunner and Weissensteiner, who were 16th in that men's test event, behind Rieder and Keinswaldner and Nagler and Malea, 4th in the Nations Cup earlier. They lead off here for Italy.
And there's a few familiar names on this team. Weissensteiner, Manuel Weissensteiner, son of Gerda Weissensteiner, Olympic great in women's bobsleigh and women's luge, Olympic medalist in both those disciplines. And I'm sure that these genes run deep in this family, because in this part of the world, in the South Tyrol, the sliding is part of the culture. And this young Italian team, I mean, a great opportunity for them in Olympic year to be starting the World Cup, just to be part of the conversation. You know, when you've got such high-class athletes, little wobble through 13, 14, but again, handling it beautifully as they come out of the finish curve. It's a nice straight shot towards the pad, and just 6/10 back as we release the next team.
Yeah, Nadia Falkensteiner and Annalena Huber, 9th in the test event for the Olympics, 9th here in Winterberg last season as well. Can they get themselves going? They've already picked up a little bit of time. Austria 2, remember, still in front. Outstanding run from them, but some big guns to come. The Germans yet to come. Austria 1 lie in wait.
As we go into 9, very smooth rise of this team. A little skid into 12. Don't see that very often. Just keeping it down and keeping it together. It's a good entrance to the finish curve. Going to pick up some time here through this very steep uphill finish curve. Crossing the finish line, hitting the pad, back into bronze medal position for this very young Italian team.
Well, you have to say, that's an outstanding run from both of them, isn't it? Into bronze. A reminder that Italy, I don't want to sound disrespectful and say sort of fielding a B squad or something like that, but that's effectively what it is. And that's excellent from them.
Yeah, I think that depth that we're seeing now, especially for a country that hasn't had a track for so long, and you've just got to think, in the next few years when they start running youth programs and what have you out of Cortina, how Italian luge is just going to become even more dominant.
Yeah, the boost the Olympics give you as a country. And it's going to make a huge difference.
Bouncing onto the entrance, but again, dealing with that very nicely, Falkensteiner and Huber. And just on a perfect line through the finish curve there. Beautiful shot that as they're going through those blue track markers. Both teams just 0.6 of a second back and bronze medal position in their first World Cup.
Now then, don't think these two need that much of an introduction. But for new viewers, we will of course introduce them, the two Tobys, the Bayern Express, Wendel and Alt. Doubles gold at 3 straight Olympic Games. Last season, their 6th overall World Cup win. They are staggeringly good. And they go, and they'll be backed up by Jessica Degenhardt and Cheyenne Rosenthal. This is Germany 2, and it's mega strong.
Yeah, I mean, 6 gold medals each, 6 Olympic gold medals each. That is a lot of hardware in this Bavarian team. As you say, the Bayern Express, the Tobys, and straight into the green, as we've come to expect over the last 20 years. And not just by a little bit of that split, by 600ths. That's going to multiply as they go down the track. But the Tobys just so experienced on these German tracks. Germany down to 3 tracks at the moment with Koenigsegg out of commission. When you've got 4 different tracks with 4 different personalities and driving styles, you create teams like this, just absolutely dominant in this.
Let's see the time as they change over. Clean lines from the two Tobys. Just lost a bit of time, so over to Jessica Degenhardt and Cheyenne Rosenthal. It is very, very tight. The police officer and the sports soldier here, and Rosenthal based here in Winterberg. This her home track.
Yeah, Degenhardt, Rosenthal. Degenhardt took out the Youth Olympics title when women's doubles made its debut, and she's just gone from strength to strength, this team. And they're closing up on this Austria 2 team. They're just a 10th ahead. So this next split's going to be very interesting into the labyrinth. It's all to play for, just bumping onto 13. Little power slide into the finish curve. That may cost them. But it looks like they may have enough speed. This is going to be telling as they hit the pad over the line, dropped a bit of time, but into first place.
And look at Germany that, look what it means straight away. Boy, their competitors, Wendel and Alt, look at that. First event of the season, they punched the air, they know they've piled the pressure onto Austria 1 and Germany 1, who come next.
And you know, I think when a team wins gold medals on a pretty much weekly basis throughout the season, maybe it doesn't mean so much, but you just see the competitive fire is still very much there for the Tobys.
That's what the good ones do. They get to the top, and staying there's the hard bit. Now then, the touchpad is going to have to be changed here, which is fun. So we'll have a minute or so delay until, well, it's good to build up to it, until Austria 1 and Germany 1. Must be just a slight glitch with it.
Degenhardt, Rosenthal into the finish curve. How much will that cost them when Austria 1 and Germany 1 go? So this labyrinth is such a tricky part of the track. You leave curve 9, and then it's like you've got rockets on the back of your sled as you accelerate from 110 kilometers an hour all the way up to 130, or in the men's case, close to 140. 85 miles an hour.
Tell you what, the story there as well was Degenhardt and Rosenthal were very, very quick. They really did seal that deal when you saw those splits. Now then, Yannick Müller, Armin Frauscher, along with Lina Riedel and Anna Lerck. 8th in that test event, Müller and Frauscher. 3rd here in the World Cup race in Winterberg in January. Müller, the police officer, races both singles and doubles. Frauscher transition from singles to doubles. Lead off this Austria 1 team. for the standard set by Germany 2. Only 2 teams left now. We get right down to the business end. This mixed doubles, the opening event of this World Cup season. Can Austria 1 respond? Let's look at the start first of all.
Big, powerful start there, but straight into the red. Firstly, let's welcome back Armin Frauscher after that horrible injury he got in Beijing last season. Broken arm in the World Cup finals. But it's great to see you back, Armin. And looking like you haven't lost any of your touch. Austria 1 just dropping back a little bit in the red here, though. Entering into the labyrinth. Smooth labyrinth, little sideways, but keeping it straight on into the finish curve. Going uphill, this is going to be interesting. Little tap on the right wall.
Well, they didn't make up the time, and it's Lena Riedel and Anna Lek who go now. The older of the Riedel-Lek pairings. Bronze at the Winter Youth Games in Gangwon in 2024. Behind their sisters, they won the Nations Cup event earlier. Can they translate that here? They can't. Not at the moment anyway. There is time here to make up. Germany 2 absolutely flew down.
Half a second back at that split. This is going to be very tough, but they're not losing any more time. So this is where they've really got to throw down. This is for all the marbles. They've really got to make sure that they make this labyrinth absolutely perfect. It's caused so many of our athletes so many problems, so there is time to be found. That is one of the best labyrinths we've seen under huge pressure. A little close to that right wall. Just outside the medals, Austria 1, 7/10 back.
So
but
still
what a competitive field this is.
Fantastic, isn't it? Germany 2. Germany 2 lead with Germany 1. The only team who can beat them now. Highlights here of Austria 1's run. Just didn't quite have it.
See that beautiful aerodynamic form there as they exit Kreisel and then up the finish straight, staying flat as long as they can, because as soon as they set up, it's like putting on the air brakes. So these athletes are trying to lay flat as long as they can and wait as long as possible until they smack that pad to open up the gates at the top.
This is why it's great to have Mark
there, showing where the athlete's steering.
That's why it's great to have Mark alongside me, giving us details about sitting up and hitting the pad, things that just to a casual viewer wouldn't even have occurred to you. It seems so natural. Now then, here we are. Germany 2 lead. This is Germany 1. Toni Eggert and Florian Müller. Eggert, one of the most decorated ever doubles athletes. Olympic medalist, 11-time world champion. Came back from retirement along with his new co-pilot Müller. Let's see what they could do. 5th at Winterberg last year, 5th at the World Championships in Whistler. What can the Germany 1 pair do here?
Very smooth start curve there from Germany 1. Again, you think Florian Müller stepping into the shoes of Beneken after Eggert Beneken dominating for so many years, but he just jumped on this sled and it's business as usual. Eggert Müller just back by a 10th, not costing them a huge amount of time. Plenty of time to be found through this labyrinth. We've seen so many of these teams have some trouble. It's a little bit of a skid into 13, big skid, and they're on their side. They're trying to try and get it back on the runners, but that's disaster for Eggert Müller.
Yeah, it was more than trouble because their teammates wait, but they're done for here. Eitberger and Mancina waiting for the gates to open, but Germany 1 come a cropper. Eitberger and Mancina frustrated. What drama here, Mark?
Well, you don't expect to see that, do you? I mean, You can see the resignation on Diana Eidberger's face as she saw the gates fail to open. Hopefully the boys are okay. Tony Eggert, Florian Mueller just flipping out of 13 there. It looked like they were going to save it, but they just, once those double sleds, the center of gravity is so much higher than on a single sled. Once they start to tip, you just can't get it back.
Well, we saw in the course of the various runs, we saw that nearly happen on a few occasions. It makes you all the more impressed by the saves that we saw when you see just what can go wrong. So, what a fascinating start to the season, of course, with so much still in front of us. And there's the news that we were hoping for. They both certainly look shaken by that, but they both look okay as well, Mark.
Yeah, it just always takes a while to get a double sled out of the track because these athletes are strapped to the sled. And you just see them starting to slide into 13 there. That's their mistake. That G-force just picking them up on the end. And when that happens, you're a passenger. You are no longer driving the sled. You see him doing everything he can to save it, Tony Eggert, but not to be this time.
So talk us through the error there.
Everything they can to get the sled back on the runners. And this big uphill finish curve, if you crash there, it takes a while to get out of there. You've got to remember they've got no grip on their feet whatsoever in these race boots either.
So,
well, there is the winner's circle. Germany 2, Austria 2, Latvia 2.
yeah, Austria 1, Italy and Poland making up that top 6. So a win from the mixed doubles for Germany 2, Austria 2, and then Latvia 2. A great run that was from Germany 2, and the shock in terms of the podium at the end. Germany 1 failing. Latvia 1, Ukraine, Romania, Slovakia making up that top 10, and, well, the DNF, obviously, next to Germany 1. Woo! Well, all smiles for Germany 2. Tell you what, when you're a winner, you're just a winner, aren't you? And that's just a great performance from Wendel and Alt and Degenhardt and Rosenthal. What a great start to their seasons as well. Smiles from Latvia 2 as well.
President of the FIL, just handing out the flowers here. Latvian president of the FIL. So great to see Latvia on that podium. But as you say, Dave, winning is a habit, and especially for this dominant Germany 2 team, they just keep winning.
So there's the presentations. They have their flowers, they have their bouquets. They also have a long weekend in front of them. There's a big announcement. Big relief as well. Get a first win under your belt. They all look nice and calm, don't they? They know they've got work to do this weekend as well. The men's and women's doubles coming up tomorrow, the team relay on Sunday, amongst the rest of the drama here potentially. So there's the points in terms of the World Cup. Of course, after only one race, Germany 2 lead, Austria 2, Latvia 2. Well, you know all of this because you've just seen the standings for the first race. My prediction is that table's going to get more interesting after we've had more races throughout the course of the season. But there you go. That's how the mixed doubles World Cup standings look after our event in Winterberg here. And let's take a look now at the slow-mos, the highlights of our top 3. Talk us through just what they did so well here, Mark.
This is a great shot. You can just see the top man just driving with his left leg there, pushing in on those Kufans or runners at the front of the sled. And this Latvian pairing just so composed. You see them stretching out, trying to be as aerodynamic as possible. And they were charging the whole way. Because the ice has been a little soft today, these athletes are all so on the edge. They are throwing it all to chance somewhat. They're setting up their sleds incredibly fast. But when you set your sleds up fast, you also lose stability, you lose control. And here we see Germany 2. Wendell Alt just looking so relaxed on that sled, soaking up all those bumps. Little skid there, but just taking it all in their stride as they always do.
So there you have it. There's our winners, Germany 2, and we will hear from all of our podium athletes before we leave you. Of course, we've got the mixed singles to come. Not too long, actually, in round about half an hour's time from now. Glorious pictures as well from Winterberg. It's something really special, and it's a great course to be a spectator at as well. There's so many turning up and enjoying, not just today, but of course the weekend we'll find out as well. I always enjoy seeing the road next to sports locations as well, grounds and stadia and so on.
Guys, congratulations, amazing.
Put it in context. Here they are anyway.
We would have been on another track today. What changed for you in the preparation?
We have to take it how it ends right now, and we're here in Winterberg and not in Eagles. We would like to slide in Eagles, but now we're here and we focused on this track, and I think we did pretty good, so we won, and we are so happy about it. And yeah, tomorrow there's another race, and keep fingers crossed.
Thank you guys, congratulations. Thank you.
So there were our winners. Just the men doing the talking, was it? I suppose, I don't know. I'm not sure about that, but anyway, lots to focus on over the course of the weekend. That's a nice picture as well. Shows you the context of where everyone's watching, and I would imagine a hot drink or two wouldn't go amiss in and around there as well. I'm sure there's one available for everyone attending. I thought we were going to hear from the whole podium, but looking at those pictures in the background, are we lining anyone up here for an interview? We might be. We might be before we leave you, but we've enjoyed this so far. We've got the singles to come in, as I said, round about half an hour's time. And let's see if we're going to hear from anybody else. The best laid plans and all of that. Let's wait and see. I can see a cameraman getting ready over there on the stage. So, not sure who he's going to be filming, but we wait to find out. I'm hesitant to bring Mark in here because the minute I do, someone's going to come on screen and be interviewed, of course, but I'm thinking it's looking less and less likely, I would have to say. Oh no, here we go.
Congratulations on a podium at the start of the season. We've seen it's been quite a difficult track. How did you prepare for this track here?
I think we had a pretty solid run today. Little problems in the labyrinth, but it was for sure our best run during this whole week, and so I think we could do better for the races, and that's for sure great for tomorrow also.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good old Wolfie there with a big smile on his face. See him jump down off the stage. Quite a jump for him, actually, that, as he makes his way to chat to one or two journalists, I think, down there. Let's see if there's anyone else who's gonna come and have a chat. I think possibly that is going to happen. Let's wait and see. It was a really good run for Latvia as well, of course. Are we waiting to talk to someone else? I think we are. Already heard from winners and seconds. So let's wait and see. Yeah,
guys, congratulations. Great run here. We've seen it's been quite the challenging track. It's not been an easy run. How was it for you?
Oh, it was really hard. From the 9, it was really hard to get down, but after all, it's a good result.
How are you going into the season now with this result?
I mean, this is our first World Cup, so it's a new beginning.
Thank you, guys. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. That's the perfect answer, really. A new beginning and a podium finish. Things, hopefully for them, will get better as well. But really good start and so much to look forward to from the singles as well. Well, I think we're going to leave you in a moment. A great win here for Germany too. The winning habit, and they maintained it here. The singles to come. We'll be back for those in round about half an hour's time. From both of us, though, for the time being, goodbye from Winterberg.
Lara, Selina, unglaublicher Auftakt in die Saison. Ihr seid so wieder auf einem Podium im Team, diesmal im Mixed Doubles. Ihr habt eine unglaubliche Saison letztes Jahr gehabt. Wie geht es jetzt mit diesem Ergebnis in die neue Saison rein?
Ich glaube, einen zweiten Platz nehmen wir gern mit, vor allem nach der nicht ganz fehlerfreien Fahrt. Da hat's schon unten haben wir schon ein bisschen gebatzt. Deswegen sind wir happy, dass sich ein zweiter ausgegangen ist heute.
Ihr habt es schon angesprochen, es ist keine leichte Strecke hier. Wir haben auch übersiedeln müssen aufgrund von Eagles. Wie habt ihr euch vorbereitet darauf, dass wir jetzt doch keinen Heimweltcup haben?
Ja, es ist schon schade, dass wir nicht zu Hause rodeln können, nicht bei den Fans und der Familie sein kann. Aber wir sind froh, dass Winterberg eingesprungen haben können. Und ja, jetzt haben wir Vorbereitungen in Winterberg gehabt, zwar leicht kurze, aber ich glaube, wir sind bereit für morgen.
Danke.
Danke.
Danke euch, Mädels.
just have to go through the checks again. But if you hear everything on the VAR, you can do it for now because we don't have a lot of time.
Absolutely, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Can you hear me on the main mic, Mark? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
I can hear you
Okay.
now.
Okay.
I got some just from people that were watching said I was a little quiet.
Right.
So
This is only for. I'm happy you guys can hear each other. That's all good. Can we just get some levels from you, Mark, in specific?
absolutely. So we started today with the Nations Cup, and well, wasn't that fun? We had a few debutants. We had Dylan Morse and Kaya Hatton for Great Britain, their first World Cup together as a team. And Theo Downey and Ember Susko of Canada. I mean, what a pairing they are. Ember Susko, just 20 years old. And I've coached her since she was 13. And I've just seen her grow as an athlete. Just such an exciting time for Canadian luge.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mark. Are you guys all happy with your setup, with your pictures?
Can I just confirm what I'm seeing? I'm seeing Eurovision Services Washington and a clock that's not right. Is that correct?
Not correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'll change that for you now.
Thank you.
As for you, Dave, do you see MFR 30? Those are the correct pictures. I'll just change that for you, Mark, in a second.
Thank you. Nice work, Dave. Welcome to Luge. I looked at the YouTube reports. Everyone seemed very happy. So this is good to hear. You know, the mums and dads club are the toughest to please. So sounds like you did. No, it's great, mate. Really fun working with you. It's great.
So
I think we only spoke over each other once. I wonder if I do, actually, yeah. Yeah. I think I maybe do have a delay. Okay. I'm going to come out of everything and start again, actually. I'm going to come out of Lymphone as well, I think. If I can, because last time I didn't, and it didn't reopen. So, okay. Yep, still seeing Eurovision Services Washington here. Can anyone hear me?
I can, Mark. Oh.
What picture have you got, Dave?
I've got this EPA MFR 33 with the Slovakian athlete. It's effectively the pretty much the first picture from this first, the start of the mixed doubles is what I've got. It's like a freeze. Have you not got that? No.
No.
You see, ominously, this is what happened. We were seeing different pictures ahead of the doubles, weren't we? That was kind of the start of the issue, if you like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Okay. Well, I guess we just have... Thanks, Ali.
Who has to reset? Me? Okay. Okay, will do. Oh, here we go. Yes, I've got EPA MFR 33.
Hey Mark, are you happy with your pictures now?
Yeah, I've got I think I've got the same as Dave. I've got EPA MFR 33.
That's right. And can you hear the audio on that?
I have no audio. It's just a still picture, but there's no audio coming through.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, it's our bad. There's actually, the feed is mute as of now.
Okay.
Some audio check that. Have they done a Q test yet? No, it's just the queue that say like 10 minutes to load.
No. No, I'm not getting any of that. Have I got time to step away from the mic for a couple of minutes? Yeah?
Yes, of course you have, Mark.
Great.
And welcome to Winterberg in Germany. We've already seen high drama and a really dramatic conclusion to the mixed doubles. Now it's the mixed singles, which is going to be, I promise you, high octane, highly competitive as a crowd gathers here in these glorious surroundings. The Veltins Ice Arena in Winterberg. What a weekend to come. Women's singles tomorrow, both men's and women's doubles as well. And the men's singles and the mixed relay on Sunday to round off a really fun weekend. So that's the course that lies in wait for these mixed singles. Remember, it'll be man then woman to go. It's really dramatic stuff. One triggers the other, and of course the best combined time wins, and it happens so fast. And if you're new to the sport of luge, we've got a little bit of an explainer to come. First of all, a track animation which tells you just what these athletes are facing, and even better than that, once we take a look at these images, there's the vertical drop, by the way. Remember, this isn't artificial, this is down a mountain. 110 meters, might be artificial ice, but it's still down a mountain. 15 corners, including that famous Veltins Kreisel, a 270-degree turn. You can see all of the drama of that. And here they go from the start. This is what faces them. There's that Veltins Kreisel, and then they get into the problems of the labyrinth down at the bottom where you can lose the race. We've just seen it, trust me, in the mixed doubles. The labyrinth is very tricky to negotiate. Now, we love the track animation, but the two-time Olympian Mark Hatton is with us to talk us through the point of view of these athletes and what they're facing. Over to you, Mark.
Yes, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. This is the view from the men's start, and you see how quickly they're accelerating as they go into curve two. Now, curve two, uphill, bit of a slow curve, and this top section is slow. They're going to top out at around 80 to 100 as they go past the double start there. That's where the women will be entering from in this mixed singles as they go from 6 into that 270 degrees Veltins Kreisel. As you see, the speed still fairly stable, but starting to pick up speed. This is the signature curve, curve 910, and this is where it gets really spicy. This is going into the labyrinth, into 12, into 13. You just see them accelerating the whole way down the mountain, and then they hit that uphill finish curve, and you see the speed just bleed off. And as they cross the finish line, they've got to hit the pad there, and they cross the finish line, open the gate at the top, and release the next athlete.
Here are the weather conditions.
Now the weather today. Look at that, air temperature +4, ice -3.8. What that means is that the ice is going to frost up fairly quickly. They're working hard with the refrigeration plant to try and cool that ice down because it's +4 outside. So what that means is the earlier your start number is, the quicker the ice is going to be today.
And there is the course, the description. 13.24 in terms of meters. Average vertical drop, that is, of 9.8%. 15% is the highest, the steepest vertical drop, and 15 curves in the course to negotiate here in Winterberg. Remember, we weren't meant to be here. We were meant to be in Igels, Innsbruck, but the course was not ready. And so we are here. Winterberg have done an amazing job. Great Britain go first. And we have some commentary box interest in this. I'm going to let Mark entirely take over the Great Britain run of Dylan Morse and Kaya Hatton, which might just give you a clue as to why Mark's interested. But we'll let him talk about that when they come up first. But Germany 2, Austria 1, Germany 1 to come last. And they will start, of course, as the favourites. So many big names. Plenty of supporters here as well, and we wait for our first starters to get things underway. And there's that dynamic stretching. I was boring you all about that before the mixed doubles if you were with us, but it's the way that preparation for sport has changed so much in the last 20 years. But go on then, Mark is going to talk us through Team GB. There you go.
Well, Great Britain's debut in the mixed singles. We've never had a team in this event before. Dylan Morse and Kaya Hatton, that's right, my daughter. Dylan just come over from Canada to the UK team, and this morning in Nations Cup had a huge crash in the labyrinth, but he was flying. He was actually in 12th position when he crashed.
Brave guy to go again. Here he goes then, Dylan Morse.
Dylan Morse starting off this EBERSPAECHER Luge World Cup mixed singles as he goes from curve 0 through into curve 2. Curve 2 uphill, bleeds off a little bit of speed, and this is where it stays very, very important to stay flat, to stay relaxed. Dylan Morse, again, used to slide with Canada. This is his first season with Team GB, but he's looking good here, Dave.
Absolutely. Remember the way that this works. There's a touchpad once they get through the labyrinth, and that will release the next athlete. It's real thrills and spills here, and that's where Dylan Morse is heading right now. Looks a good run at the moment. So brave, of course, to come straight back out and go again. Little bit of a slide there. He needs to recover the position, and he does. And
that was a great save from Dylan there.
Great save. Touchpad. Go, Kaya. Here she goes. This is going to be hard for you, Mark, but I'm going to let you take over.
Kaya Hatton, her first World Cup for Great Britain. Last season had a great season in the Youth A series, came 5th in Europe. And at 16 years old, I don't know what I was doing at 16, but I certainly wasn't flying down the track at this speed. She goes from Kreisel, looking smooth right now. Curve 910, doing it just as she has in training. Little skid into 11, just get the shoulders back and relax, bumping on, but this is a nice labyrinth, little bump on, but what a lovely, lovely correction there from Kaya Hatton as she comes across the finish line, sits up a little early, hits the pad, and opens the scoring for Great Britain with a 1:44.723. That's Dylan Morse and Kaya Hatton for Great Britain.
You can breathe now, Mark. You can breathe, you can relax. She did great, absolutely great. And I love the reaction from Dylan as well. He was genuinely thrilled. That was genuine, big smile on his face. He was impressed by that run. Here are the highlights.
This is where Dylan had that power slide into 13, but just got the shoulders back, stabilized the sled, dropped the anchors just for a couple of seconds, and back up, well, probably for a millisecond. Dylan Morse and Kaya Hatton, 20 years old and 16-year-old respectively, and that is the shape of British luge for the future.
And coming next, Theo Downey and Ember Susko. Mark knows these athletes very well. Theo was 8th in the Nations Cup earlier on, 19th at the Olympic test event. And he gets underway. A bit of music around as well. They funked the place up. I love it. They're really getting the atmosphere going with this mixed singles.
Yeah, Theo Downey just so confident at the moment. Canada getting that bronze medal in their home world championships in the team event last year. And they've just gone from strength to strength in their confidence as a team. Theo looking a little bit choppy through 6 there, but getting it back on track for the Veltins Kreisel. High line through Kreisel, higher than we often see from the men. 9 just perfect there as he takes it into 11 and into this tricky labyrinth. Very high, just gets slapped down onto the ice, deals with it beautifully. When that happens, you have to keep the shoulders back and stay relaxed. And at 135 kilometers an hour, that is not easy as Ember Susko from Whistler enters the track.
Yeah, 4th in the women's singles at the 2025 Worlds in Whistler, under 23 silver as part of that race in a race. 14th at the Cortina Olympic test event, the top Canadian there. Let's see how she goes. They're up already, Canada too.
And in Whistler last year, Ember just showed her class. She really did. 4th position in the singles on her home track in Whistler. At 19 years old she was then, and just a wonderful, wonderful strength and depth in this Canadian team. Ember just looking smooth, such a relaxed slider, keeps the shoulders back, keeps that aerodynamic form. You see that the head back, the toes pointed, just how it should be as she crosses the finish line, jumping ahead of Great Britain 1.7 seconds ahead of GB, but that's Canada into first place.
Yeah, really smooth. There's Dylan and Kaya. Early stages here, of course, but it's a great run that from Ember Suska. You could see the smoothness from here. There's Theo, who sent them on their way. Can I just say something as well, Mark? It's embarrassing enough when your mum and dad talk about you at a party or something like that. Can you imagine your dad commentating on you? Goodness me.
Yeah, it
Never
wasn't a
live it
popular
down.
decision.
I'm only kidding. It's fabulous to see you get through it and hear the emotion. Valter Wikström and Emma Zia now, the Finnish-Estonian duo. Valter 23rd in the Nations Cup earlier. Let's see how he goes here, because that Canada 2 sled, the combination, they went really well. So let's see what kind of start we see here from Valter Wikström.
Walter Wikström, you know, I love this guy. He is such a committed athlete. He has only been sliding for a couple of years, and his previous job as a professional football goalkeeper has he jumps around on the sled. He's got great survival skills, and because of that, we call him the Finnish cat, because he always seems to land on his steels, or at least on his feet. Walter Wikström stretching out there. See, keeping that aerodynamic form, sliding like someone who's been sliding far longer than he has. Clean lines, little skid into 11, but nothing to write home about. Bit choppy into 13, but keeping it together. Good survival skills, slams those shoulders back in the entrance of finish curve. Now he's just got to keep that position, sit up as late as possible, opens the gate for Emma Sear.
Yeah, Emma, the
1.7
Estonian,
seconds back.
14th in that women's race in the Nations Cup earlier on, and a slightly awkward looking start from Emma. Let's see if she can start to find that shape and find that rhythm here. 2.372 down.
Emma Sear, such a hard worker, constantly learning. And you know, it wasn't a massively popular decision to move the women's start for this mixed singles down to the double start. That was done for technical reasons. But they're not used to going from this lower down start. And these tracks, they're built to be slid from the top. But looking good here through that labyrinth. Beautiful sliding, 12, 13, 14 from Emma. You can really see her steering with that right foot round the finish curve. Sits up a little early, but crosses the finish line into third place. Finland, Estonia.
That Canada 2 time still looking pretty good. See the mechanics of it all. Valter just waiting down at the finish line, and a thumbs up there for Emma.
See, this is interesting, this start curve for them. It's so different to what they usually do. Once you lose traction in the top there, once the steels lose grip, it's so difficult to get it back, especially if you've got an early start number. You know, these athletes in World Cup, they're used to going near the back of the pack. And now in the mixed, they're near the front of the pack where the ice is most fresh.
So Canada 2 flew. This is Canada 1. Cole Zajanski, Trinity Ellis. Cole 17th in that Nations Cup earlier. Trinity was 7th in her race as Cole gets Canada 1 underway here.
Now Cole has surprised everybody, or surprised everybody who didn't know this already, but he's an incredibly useful single slider. Cole Zajanski usually on the back of the double sled with his partner Devon Wardrow. Devon having that horrible shoulder injury in Whistler this year, and also tweaking it again this week in Winterberg, which is why Cole has been, well, promoted or demoted to singles, but he's doing a great job here. Again, as a doubles backman, huge strength on the start. A big start from Cole. Still in the red, Canada 1. Behind Canada 2. As he just slaps through that labyrinth, but keeping it together. A bit of a power slide into the finish, but arrests that skid as we expect from a slider of this caliber. Sits up at the last minute, releasing Pemberton's own Trinity Ellis.
Yeah, part of that generation who've been shaped by the legacy of Whistler 2010. We've already seen some of them taking part here today, and Trinity Ellis goes to try and make up the ground here on Canada 2. She lists one of her hobbies as knitting, you know, Trinity Ellis. Goodness me, this is a long way from that.
Well, you know, know, luge is a relaxation sport at the heart of it. The softer you are in your body, the more relaxed you are. You can soak up those bumps and really let the sled run.
Well, top level knitting's brutal, Mark.
It's called cross-training, Dave. As this big skid from Trinity as she goes into the finish curve, but again, uses all that experience honed in Whistler to get the sled back under control as Canada 1 dropped behind Canada 2 by 0.6 of a second.
Yeah, that run from Theo Downey and Ember Susko is looking pretty good at the moment, isn't it? From that Canada 2 sled.
This is really tricky for the women. It really is, especially through these top curves, because they're used to going into these curves with so much more speed. And when they're going from the double start, they just have to do some slightly different drive, hold at different parts in the curve, and it can be quite confusing for some of these athletes when they're only down there for one run all week.
So the Poles, Mateja Sokovic and Klaudia Domaradzka. The risk of asking you a question you don't know the answer to, Mark, will the women have had a chance to go from that start? Or is this going to be the first time they've seen it?
No, a lot of them, they took the opportunity early on in the week when the news came out that we were going to go from that start. A lot of the women took at least one run from that start. And I think it was an incredibly good decision, because usually in a track like Winterberg, most of these ladies will go straight off the top.
Still difficult if you're not used to it, whether you've had a look or not, still difficult. And we're going to see how difficult it is for Klaudia Domaradzka in a moment. This is a good start, though, from Mateja Sokovic, the Pole.
Yeah, after a little skid on the start, Sokovic looking like he's got himself together, starting to relax into this. Little high on the exit of 9, but deals with it perfectly. Skidding into 12, power slide just hits the back of the sled into the finish curve. That labyrinth being so tricky for some of these athletes. Up the finish line, keeping good aerodynamic form last minute and opening the doors for Klaudia Domaradzka.
Yeah, 12th in the Nations Cup earlier. Let's just see how she gets going from this very awkward start that Mark has described for us.
The Poles have a great partnership with the German team, so they use a lot of the German resources, and this makes them so strong on these German tracks. They get support with the coaching, support with the sleds. It's a partnership set up by the International Luge Federation to help some of the smaller nations, where a smaller nation gets taken under the wing of a larger nation and uses their resources. And it's been great for Poland. You can see from Klaudia through here, through that labyrinth, you can see the difference that's made to her sliding. Just one of the best labyrinths we've seen today.
Yeah, you could tell from the almost lack of movement through there how well she dealt with it. They're over a second behind. That Canada 2 time is still pretty spectacular. All smiles there, Theo and Ember. It was nice as well, wasn't it, from Mateus saying she was great, me not so. I like the body language.
I think you know when you finish, you know to within a couple of thousandths what your time is going to be usually. And the thing with Winterberg, you make a small mistake, especially up top. It's so difficult to get back to time. It's so flat up there. The more time you can get going through those flat sections before 9, the more it multiplies through that very fast.
Yeah, you were explaining this to me when we were chatting over the last couple of days. These mistakes are compounded, aren't they? That's why it's so important to be as smooth as you can. That's the rear view of Ondrej Manzi, who had a good run in that Nations Cup earlier. Finished third. Olena Smaha, 33rd in that Olympic test event for the women. Here's the very experienced Manzi, though, to get Ukraine underway. Still, that Canada 2 time is looking good.
Just a little tap on the left wall down the ramp there into curve 0. Curve 0, a newish curve from 2006 when they moved the start up, the women's start up to the top, they had to build another curve. So the actual curve he's in now is curve 3 into curve 4, going past that double start we saw earlier today. But Ukraine straight into the green. This is great sliding from the very experienced Ondrej Manzi.
He's picked out some good lines here, Manzi. Looks nice and relaxed, and look at that. Fantastic split there, but as you say, just wobbled, didn't he?
through the labyrinth, though. Andre Menz has such good feeling on the sled. He's such an instinctive slider. Most athletes drive 80% by feeling. I'd say Menz, he drives almost 100% by feeling.
So 200s ahead as Elena Smahart takes over now. We saw that excellent run, didn't we, from Ember Susko? So in a way, she's up against that here. But look at this, what a great start that is.
Great sliding from Smahart. Just got to stay in the green, just got to make the most of these long top curves.
Dropped a fraction there.
Looked really comfortable going from that lower start through those top curves. And she's looking good here, Dave. I mean, still in the green going into the labyrinth. I was expecting this to get scraped off, and it does, as she goes into the finish curve with that big power slide in the entrance.
It's cost her speed, hasn't it? It's cost her everything here. Dear me, what a shame. Still fourth, but look at the frustration, because it was going perfectly. They were flying. Still, Canada 2 in front. Still the beaming smile of Ember Susko.
For so many years, people said this was a gliding track. It was an easy track, and then somewhere along the line, it became much more challenging as the sleds got faster, and that labyrinth is being really, really tricky for so many of our athletes. And as you can see, Dave, they're not big mistakes they're making. You know, the punishment did not fit the crime on that mistake from Smahart.
Latvia 2, Gintz Berzins and Candia Apoyoda. Berzins, the Youth Olympic champion in Lausanne in 2020, 7th in the men's singles in Beijing. Big, big player in the men's singles, should be a big player here, and backed up by Candia Apoyoda. Let's see.
This is definitely going to put pressure on Canada too. But I think Latvia 2 are going to have to put it all out there, because that was an incredible run from Theo Downey and Ember Susko to put them in first position. But Latvia 2 looking very smooth through here. Gintz Berzins, again, like all these Latvians, out of the Sigulda track. Little bump on there, though, before Kreisel. That will cost him, because it's so flat up there. And skidding into 8 as well. This is starting to unravel a bit for Gintz Berzins. Keeping it together. Great aerodynamic form, though, from Berzins. You see those shoulders back, stabilizing the sled, and a skid into 14, but making the best of it.
It's going to be tight. It is tight. It's all over now to Candia Apoyoda. She has that narrow advantage.
Candia has 700ths to play with here. That is not a lot of time in this sport, especially with that mistake at the top in the start curve. Starting to build now. 2/10 to the good in the green. Latvia 2. That Kreisel exit, very smooth. 8-9, again looking similarly smooth. So much less speed they take from that double start. Just hanging on to the end of 9 a little bit, but keeping her calm, keeping cool. Now stay composed here. And that's a very nice labyrinth through there. Little loopy through the finish curve. That's going to cost a tiny bit of time, but I think we're going to see a new leader, and we do, by 0.3 of a second. Latvia 2 ahead of Canada 2.
Yeah, that was outstanding from Apoyoda. Berzins, I think, knows he left a little bit out there, but Apoyoda brings them home, and Latvia 2 move in front.
You saw Berzins just bumping onto 13 there. But when you're relaxed and when you keep your calm, that's when you get your best chance of making it through that labyrinth, if you do make a mistake.
That's a great close-up there. Valentin Cretu was second behind David Nursler in the Nations Cup earlier, so he's already had one terrific run. Karina Buzatoyu.
So good for his confidence, coming out from a medal-winning performance in Nations Cup straight into this mixed.
Can he do it again? Gonna have to, I think.
So Valentin Cretu gets us underway for Romania. Valentin Cretu, one of the elder statesmen of this tour, been around a very long time, very experienced athlete. Him and Joseph Ninnis of a similar vintage. Joseph Ninnis of Slovakia, now into his 40s. But constantly rolling back the years. Valentin Cretu looking smooth, showing every bit of that experience.
And with a narrow advantage here as well. It's very colourful Romanian uniforms flying down the track here.
Little bump onto 9 there, though, just gets thrown up in the entrance. Has to do some big saves in the middle of the curve. Again, thrown up there, but skid into finish curve, but that's not going to cost him too much. He's carrying a ton of speed through there. We could be staying in the green here, and we do by 0.2 of a second.
I enjoyed the technique as well. I'm not joking either in terms of the changeover. He stayed low for as long as he could there. That might have just saved a bit of time.
I think so. That, as you say, this comes down to experience again. That paddle, when you're dealing with a sport timed to 1,000th of a second, not the 100th. That timing when you sit up to hit that paddle is so important.
Oh, and they've lost time.
Just 400ths back now. They can still make this back. That 9.10's pretty good there.
Pressure on Buzatoyu though here.
Clean entrance into 14. This could be tight. She's done everything she can, but just tapping that right wall, is that going to cost her? Back by 0.6 of a second, Romania into bronze medal position.
So Latvia 2 still lead, Canada 2 still in second. Cretu's great run counts for something, but a little bit frustrating in the end. Here's the highlights of it.
See that position, see him stretching out on the sled there. A little correction away from 9, but decided to just take the hit, stay soft, stay calm, and fix his mistake in the curve.
9 teams to go. Of course, big hitters to come. 'Twas ever thus if you're leading at this point.
With every sled, the ice is slowing down with that humidity out there. The fact they're cranking the refrigeration to make up for that +4 air temperature to bring the ice down to -3.2. That means that ice is going to start getting pretty slow and frosting.
Cretu the quickest so far in terms of those splits. But Buzatoyu 4th overall, so it's those two who lead. Gintz Berzins and Kendia Apayoda from Canada 2, from Romania, from Canada 1. There's the touchpad being changed, by the way, hence the slight delay. Now, Lucas Pecce, Katerina Kofler go for Italy. This is the Italy 2 sled. Remember, Italy have some big hitters not here, but this is still a strong team. The soldier from South Tyrol, Lucas Pecce, 8th in a Nations Cup race here in January. Chance for him to try and move up those Italian rankings, those inter-team rankings, wants to be part of the Olympic Games. They all do. What can he do? 21 years of age, here he goes.
Very, very powerful start from Pecce. And like you said, David, I mean, what a great opportunity for these young athletes to be in the World Cup opener. Yes, some of the bigger hitters are back in Cortina practicing, but this is still a very solid Italian team. Into the red behind Latvia. Let's see how we go into Kreisel. Just bumping onto 6 a little bit, but deals with it nicely. Little loopy through Kreisel, but making the best of it. And smooth sliding through 9 from Pecce. This is turning out to be a very clean run from Pecce, but let's see how we go through this labyrinth. Well, very good indeed. The best we've seen from the youngster. As he comes round the finish curve, lies down to the last minute and opens up the gate for Katerina Kofler.
He made up all that time on the labyrinth. The 18-year-old Kofler goes, what a chance. Born in Merano, lives in South Tyrol, a double specialist. Gold in the women's doubles in Gang 1, the Youth Olympics in 2024 with Alexandra Oberstock. She goes here, though, to try and back up that great run from Lucas Pecce.
And look at that position. Head back, toes pointed, looking so comfortable on that single sled. As you say, usually plies her trade.
Let's take a look at the split here.
Fantastic sliding from Italy too. Well-deserved, team. Very, very well-deserved.
And I hope he got something, a free room at least for the advertising. Goodness me. Got a lot of time for that.
You see this position on the sled from these Italians. Italians traditionally have always had very, very good position on the sled. And these two are no exception to that.
So Ukraine won. Anton Dukac, Juliana Tunitska make up their team. Can they put a dent in that Latvia 2 time? The stronger teams now starting to appear.
So just tagging the left wall on the start. Not a great start there for Anton, but he's made the best of it, and we're back into curve 2. Curve 2 uphill. This is a really important spot. I mean, every curve's important, but curve 2, you can lose a race in curve 2 with a bad entrance in there. But Anton Dukac looking very, very smooth. Oh, just bumping onto 6, so that costs you on these flat curves. Through Kreisel, gets it back together though, looking composed.
Still outside that time of Latvia 2 though.
He's got some time to make up here. Definitely as curve 11, curve 12 looking smooth. Got it back under control now. That's he's stretching out into the finish curve, just trying to squeeze every thousandth out of this very challenging Winterberg track. Sits up, opens the gate for former junior world champion Juliana Tunitska.
And by the way, what a fabulous labyrinth that was from Dukac, because he made up the time, and there's plenty now for Juliana to work with. Let's see the first split here. Still
Where
up.
did that come from? That was incredible.
That was Dukac in that bottom part of the course. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, he just, I think from curve 11, he just sent it, and it was just full out the whole way down, stretching out. Now we're into the red, though, a wee bit from Tunitska. Tunitska's going to have to try and find something through the labyrinth.
Can she do what her teammate did? Looks clean enough from Tunitska. Let's see if she comes around this final curve. It's going to be really tight. Just outside, 4th for Ukraine 1.
Just outside the medals, Ukraine won 0.4 of a second back, but what a run from Dukac. Somehow put the afterburners on in the last 3 curves of the track and really found some time there. See him just bumping on there though, that was in the top of the track. And that will cost you a lot of time through these flats. But then here we see Juliana just stretching out, really going for that long, flat aerodynamic form.
Some run that from Anton. Swedes next. Svante Kohala and Tove Kohala go for Sweden then. Svante 15th in that Nations Cup earlier. Latvia 2 still the target.
Shaven this season. Sometimes sports a very luxurious beard. This year, looking clean shaven and looking good. The Swedes have come on so much over the last few years. Their program, from a relatively small program, they've targeted athletes, and these athletes have just gone from strength to strength. Svante, such a good slider, very good at high speed, very relaxed on the sled, but just a few little problems through the top curves here. So 8, 9, just bumping onto 9 there from Svante. A little high on 9, but manages to keep those shoulders back as the sled slaps down onto the flat. Little skid, but keeps it together into finish curve. Now he's got to cut across, so he's not driving uphill. He manages to do that. Opens the gate for his sister Tove Kohala.
Father Hans, a 2-time Olympian, as Sweden try and grab this time back against Latvia 2.
And look at that position on the sled from Tove. Flat like a ruler, making her body like an arrow so she can cut through the air. As you remember, when you jump in a bobsleigh, all of the work's been done in a factory for the aerodynamics. But these luge athletes, they have to be their own aerodynamicist for the whole track, constantly changing, constantly tweaking things, and constantly trying to stay shiny side down, steels down, but Tova putting down a beautiful clean run here as she goes round the finish curve, staying flat up here, sitting up at the very last minute as she missed a touchpad. No, she just gets it with the tip of her fingernail. That was down to the wire, Dave.
Still, Berzins and Apayoda in the lead for Latvia too. That was dramatic at the end. I thought for a moment she just got that wrong, but as you say, the length of a fingernail.
That is the risk you take from sitting up so late. See Svante just a little skid there through the labyrinth, but looking good. And then look at that position. You know, if a young luge athlete watching this thinking, how should I be on the sled? Well, that's it. Head back, toes pointed. It doesn't get much better than that.
Another great Mark line about luge, by the way, during that run. Be your own aerodynamicist. I mean, it's a niche T-shirt, but plenty of people would wear it. Leon Hazelrieder.
I wasn't even sure if aerodynamicist was a word.
Well, we're going with it. It is here. We're amongst friends. Leon Hazelrieder, 9th in the Nations Cup earlier. Going to be backed up here by the richly talented teenager Alexandra Oberstolz. Italy won. See that spikes there on the gloves, gives them that purchase on the ice at the start. I love all these details. And away he goes, putting those spikes to good use.
So Italy getting us underway. Italy won. Leon Hazelrieder, again, a name known to doubles aficionados. Well, his father was also a very, very handy single slider. And Hazelrieder looking incredibly, incredibly smooth here. Look at that Italian position, stretched out, aerodynamic, staying soft. Good sliding from Hazelrieder through the top curves, but just dropping back a little bit from Latvia too. Now, is that the track slowing down, or is that some of the small mistakes? Either way, he's got to pull out the stops through this bottom section.
300s to make up here for Hazelrieder. Get a good idea through the labyrinth of his position here.
Looking like he's made it up into the green, just dabs a foot into finish curve, but that just stabilizes the sled. Good finish curve there from Hazelrieder. Sits up a little early, but 2/10 to the good, almost a quarter of a second ahead of Latvia too at that spot.
It's a great finish. It was like do catch, wasn't it? A great finish from him, a triple medalist. Alexandra Oberstolz at the Winter Youth Olympics in Gangwon. Daughter of two very well-known Italian lugers. Can she back up that run from Hazelrieder? No, she can't, to start off with anyway. It's a slow start from her.
Alexandra Oberstolz, just 18 years old, but sliding beyond her years. As you say, it's a family affair. Christian Oberstolz and Anastasia Oberstolz, her parents, both incredible sliders in their own right. But she's got something to do here. She's got to stay flat. It's got to be last minute. Can she get into the green? Just outside by 1/10 of a second. Italy won into second place, into silver medal position.
So 5 to go. Latvia 2 still. Gintz Berzins and Kendia Apayoda. What fun they're having in these mixed singles.
Yeah, it's a long time to be in that leader box. Gets a little cold, so hopefully someone's bought them a jacket as we see a little bit of a choppy labyrinth here. But again, this is where the experience matters. You know, when it's going perfect, people are very, very still on the sled. But there are times when you have to throw a leg out, throw a shoulder out, and just make sure the sled is going where you want it to go and not be a passenger.
So, down to the business end. Jonas Müller and Lisa Schulte make up Austria 2. Big single star for Austria. Jonas Müller, powerful starter as well. Big guy, 95 kg, sports soldier with the Austrian army. Another family affair, of course. His younger brother Yannick, very much involved as a fabulous doubles racer. But still Latvia 2. with the lead. Let's see what Jonas can do, the fastest racer on the new Olympic track as well. Will that point to something special this year? Try and find something special right here, right now.
Look at that power off the start, just pushing that sled forward with those very, very strong pedals. And as expected, straight into the green for Austria too. Yeah, I mean, last weekend, Jonas Müller, I mean, what a great race he had in Cortina. And that's going to give him so much confidence.
Certainly a confident start here.
Starting to multiply that advantage he found in the start. 1/5 of a second ahead. That is a long way ahead in this sport of luge. It's time for the thousandths and stretches it out to 1/3 of a second. Just finding time very, very late into 11 though. That could cost him, but he gets it together through the labyrinth and very, very clean into finish curve. Little early, but gets away with it. Yeah, how long is he going to stay down? Right until the last minute.
Wow, that was some run now. Lisa Schulte, who turns 25. A week tomorrow, police officer. Gold in the women's singles in the World Championships in 2024. And obviously a fabulous talent, and she's got much to build on here. Austria too looking really good.
Lisa had such a great season last year, really came of age last season, and she was always good, but last season she had a glorious season and looking good here. I mean, this Austrian team, they're running so hot right now. The sleds are fast, the athletes are great, and just the mindset, they feel like winners. And look at this, still in the green, staying flat, last second, up she comes, as expected, by over a second over Latvia 2, Austria 2.
That's just stunning. That is just stunning from them. It might be as expected that the one was next to their name, but that is the fastest time, as you say, over a second, which in this sport, well, it's huge. No one was touching Latvia 2. They brushed them to one side, haven't they?
Yes, I mean, that is absolutely in another class. It really is. So with George Hackle as well as one of their coaches, very good at setting up the sleds. So this also helps with this Austrian team, that knowledge of weather conditions, especially in somewhere like Winterberg, where the weather can be so fickle.
Yeah, you can go warm up now, guys. Latvia 2 make way. In fact, brother of Kendia, Krista Zapajods, now up at the top, sporting a fabulous moustache with Elina Bota backing him up. Team relay bronze, the Winter Olympics in Beijing from Sigulda, of course he is. 5th in the men's singles in Beijing. Former youth Olympic gold medal. Now,
I first saw this guy slide back in 2016 in the Youth Olympics, and he was incredibly special then. But he's just gone from strength to strength. Big, rangy athlete, long levers, heavy guy. Very, very strong starter.
the moustache adds a couple of grams.
At least.
So, they've got some target to aim for here. Let's see, firstly, what Krista Zapajods and then Elina Bota can do. No surprise to see them in the red right from the start. It was so good, so quick from Müller.
Krista Zapajods, one of my favorite athletes to watch on the tour, just with how he keeps that consistent position. It's not the best position on the tour, but it's up there, but it's consistent from top to bottom. Such a smooth slider, Zapajods, but physical when it matters. Just looking like a very nice entrance to 9. And 9-10 just being slid as one curve there. That's one way you can slide that curve, and it's a very, very fast way. Little high there, but gets it back together. This is one of the nicest runs we've seen. But Latvia 1 still in the red behind Austria 2. He's going to give Elina Bota a bit of time to make up, but she's only got to find 0.3 of a second.
Can she find it?
That very choppy start curve, causing problems for a lot of our athletes.
Well, she's found a bit of it here, Elina Bota. Still in the red, though, Latvia 1. They'll also be
really
concerned
gonna
about
have to
beating
chase.
Latvia too. Remember that as well.
Got to chase down this time. She's lost a bit of time there, so she's going to have to chase it down through the labyrinth. Oh, skid and late into 11. That's going to cost her. Let's see how we go through this labyrinth, though. The labyrinth looking good, but she's going to scrub some speed with that skid out of curve 10. Stay flat, and up she comes last second, crossing the finish line into silver medal position. Almost 7/10 behind Austria 2, and that shows what an incredible run that was.
But remember,
from Jonas Müller and Lisa Schulte.
They move ahead of Latvia 2, and that will matter. But we've got big hitters to come now. Germany 2, Austria 1, Germany 1. That podium could change entirely.
This is a start curve. You just see her bumping on. Now, it's not a bad way to do that start curve, but if you get it wrong, you just tag that right wall, and it's very difficult. You see, this is a skid I was talking about, just out of curve 9. That would have cost her into that labyrinth.
Here we go then. Max Langenhan, the star of last season. Merle Frebel, part of this remarkable team. Men's World Cup title in 23-24, defended it last year. One of the big gold medal contenders for Milan Cortina. What more can you say? But he's got some target to aim at here, Langenham. First mini battle head-to-head of the season, this maybe.
Very squirrely on the start there from Langenhan. I haven't seen that before from him. And that says to me there's something in the sled setup that he is rolling the dice incredibly aggressively here. But the thing with Max, once he gets going, he just looks like he's on rails from top to bottom. Keeping that position, sending it through the top curves. Little bump onto Kreisel, but that's not going to affect him. This is such a slippy sled he's on. He is all over the place, but managing to keep the sled in a straight line. This is incredible sliding from Langenham, but are these micro skids costing him?
This is line into labyrinth. Let's see. What's he going to leave Frebel here? She's going to have to fly. Austria 2 still leading, remember. Now Merle Frebel, the 22-year-old from Zuul in Thuringia. Gold medalist formerly at the Youth Olympics. And a massive talent.
Somewhere along the line, Merle Frebel just lost 0.2 of a second to Austria 2. This is going to be, if they're going to do anything, it's got to be in that tricky labyrinth section at the bottom of the track. She's got to find some speed from somewhere. And she's looking good there, though, through 9-10. She's done everything she can to bring some speed into 12, 13, 14. 13, 14, that's one of the best we've seen. She's doing everything she can to squeeze back into the green as she comes over the brow of the hill. Last second sit-up and into second place. Germany 2 behind Austria 2. Again, just showing what a mercurial run that was from Austria 2 to be 6/10 ahead of Germany.
Yeah, it was remarkable. Müller and Schulte in front. Austria 1, remember, go next. There's going to be a slight delay here before Austria 1 go, adding to the drama.
You just see him into 8 here, just losing traction on the ice. Just getting thrown up in the curve there, but manages to get it back together by 9. All these micro skids, they just end up costing you so much. They compound and compound the whole way down the track.
Yeah, they know. They know. I think they knew from some way out as well. Langenham 3rd overall, Frebel the same. They won't be happy with that. Of course, they've got a weekend to put it right. So it's those two who are smiling. Latvia 1, Latvia 2, 3rd and 4th. Austria 2, Germany 2 leading the way. Only Austria 1 and Germany 1 to go. Now, Wolfgang Kindl, we saw him smiling earlier. Hannah Prock to back up this team. Remarkable athlete at the age of 37. One of the very few to do it all, I think is a good way of summing him up.
Wolfgang Kindl, the hardest working man in show business. He does doubles, he does team competition, mixed races, singles. As you say, he does it all, but he does it all at a world-class level.
That said, Austria too have set the standard here. Can he find clean lines? Can he find those little technical moments to edge out Jonas Müller and Lisa Schulte? Let's see. This could be good, these last two. Austria 1 and Germany 1 will be under pressure. It's Austria 1 to go first. All eyes on those splits, and then all eyes on Hannah Prock. Delay adds to the drama. A little roar as he lets loose and gets into that position straight away.
So Wolfgang Kindl, we just saw him in the doubles, now he's in the singles, and he knows this track well. He likes this track. And if there's anyone that is going to chase down Austria 1, it's going to be this guy, Wolfie Kindl. Little high in 4 there, but gets away with it nicely.
Just outside.
6, just outside, as you say, just back by a 10th. And again, into 8, 9. This is being really tricky for some of these later sleds. That little skid out of 8, out of Kreisel, I mean, into 8. Let's see how Labyrinth goes. 12, 13, looking good still. Little skid into the finish curve, but deals with it nicely by keeping that solid position from Wolfie Kindl. Last second, sits up, the legs come up as well.
So second, Austria 1, and it's Hannah Prock, who can make errors but can be extremely dangerous with a clean run. Son of the Austrian, or daughter I should say, of the Austrian luge legend Markus Prock, of course. Can Hannah make up the time?
Well, Hannah was just on such a great hot streak of sliding last year in the Asia races. In Pyeongchang, she had such a wonderful race where she got an incredible podium there. But Hannah Prock, again, looking good here. But a skid into 13 is going to cost her, and a skid into finish curve. This may not be enough from Austria 1.
It's not, is it? Second, but still significantly outside Jonas Müller and Lisa Schulte, who rightly look pleased with themselves here because they have the lead with an awesome time. And only, I say only, because Germany wanted to come, but only one pair to come.
That's true. I mean, and to put down 2 runs like that, you know, there were mistakes, but they were all fixed in good time. And to put that down and still be half a second back from your teammates just shows the level of sliding. As you see that skid through 13 into 14, which when you're taking it into that uphill curve at the finish, that uphill curve, if you've made a mistake before it, it just seems like an eternity that you're in that curve going uphill towards the finish line. Austria 1, Wolfgang Kindl, Hannah Prock into silver medal position.
Little smile and a punch of the air because Austria 2 have beaten Austria 1. Why not? A modern great in the shape of Felix Loch, the 36-year-old 3-time Olympic champion. Team relay gold in Sochi to back up singles golds in Vancouver and Sochi. 6 overall World Cup titles. The list is a very, very long one, but the task here has nothing to do with that. It's all about beating the time of Austria 2, who absolutely flew here at Winterberg. Loch will be backed up by Julia Taubitz. Let's see.
Felix Loch dropping into the track with a huge start there. Big, powerful start, 4 paddles into curve 2. stretching out and looking good, but still in the red, but squeezes into the green at that split as he goes past curve 4. This is going to get spicy, and back into the red. It's all over the place, this clock. This is some incredibly close racing.
It is so
18
tight.
thousandths of a second. Still on 18 thousandths of a second. This is going to go down to the wire. Germany won. Felix Loch, 3-time Olympic champion, going to have to pull on all of his experience as he's back in the red into the finish curve.
Still in the red. Taubitz goes now, though. Stunning athlete, of course.
Another case of just getting the touchpad with his fingernails. Felix Loch almost missing the touchpad there completely. Julia Taubitz now, she's got to find 600ths from somewhere, but if anyone can do it, it's Julia Taubitz. Such a great season last year, and there's no reason to suggest that she hasn't brought that form into this very competitive Olympic season.
5 crystal globes in a row for Julia Taubitz. Motorcyclist off the track. She needs to motor here into the labyrinth. Can Taubitz do it?
Just into second place, back by a 1/10 of a second. That means Austria 2 are victorious. Germany 1 slipping into second place. But Dave, that was back and forth the whole way down the track.
It's a fabulous run from Müller and Schulte. And it's Austria Tuesday. But what an effort from those two. They left very little out there, and they got as close as anyone did, of course, to that remarkable Austria 2 run. Remarkable consistency from Loch and Taubitz.
Felix here stretching out through the Weltenskreisel, and this is where he almost misses the touchpad. Oh, just a fingernail away. That was so close to disaster for Germany 1, but instead, a silver medal. Felix Loch, Julia Taubitz. If you were going to bet on anyone to take down that Austria team, it would be those two, and they came so close.
Well, second for them, silver for them, but the gold, the performance of the day, Jonas Müller and Lisa Schulte. That Austria 2 performance was something else. Well, what a day's action we've had here. Austria 2 winning the mixed singles from Germany 1. Austria 1 with the bronze. Germany 2 just outside that top 3. And really good runs from Latvia 1 and Latvia 2. Canada 2 finishing 8th as well. And that Great Britain team in 16th. Finland and Estonia behind them.
This is a great shot of the track here. You see that labyrinth on the right-hand side of the picture. You see how close those curves are together. That's what makes it so challenging. Imagine hitting that at 135 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, it's worth remembering the geography and to an extent the geology as well of the whole thing, about where we are, what the track is built on, and what they're actually facing. That's why it's so great to see that POV before the race, to give you just the merest idea of what lies in wait for them. But a great win here, great day in Winterberg, Austria 2. Congratulations to them, just a remarkable one to take these mixed singles.
First in the segments, network represented by
So the road to Milano Cortina starts here. Well, it's already started, but you know what I mean. What a build-up it's going to be to February. You won't miss a minute. You will not miss a beat of anything with us here. But here's the presentation ceremony for Austria too. Tell you what, if you're a florist in these cities and towns where they have these luge events, you do okay on these weekends. Sell a few bouquets. Great win, really great win for Jonas Müller and Lisa Schulte. Almost felt like the minute we saw them fly, the minute we saw the time, it was always going to be a struggle for everyone else. Germany won second and Austria won with that bronze. We'll hear, of course.
It's really interesting to see that inter-team rivalry between this very competitive Austrian team go through the season, because they are so close to one.
So big smiles from everyone. We're going to hear from our top three before we leave you here. Fair to say that the sun went down some time ago. Here's the overall standings then of the mixed singles World Cup, and it's fairly predictable. 100 points to Austria, 2. Germany won with 85. Austria won with 7. You don't need me to read down the list. You've all got eyes, you can see. But that's where we are right now. And, of course, these mixed events don't happen every weekend of the World Cup. But we'll watch that table develop over the course of the season. But great start from Müller and Schulte. And in a way, the significance of what they did here today isn't just about those points. It's about looking ahead to singles. It's about where they are in terms of form. It's about just how good that was. And we can take a look back at how good the top three were here, Mark.
Yes, I mean, it really was a masterclass today. Those top three teams were so consistent. And even when they made those small mistakes, they managed to fix them and carry their speed all the way through the finish. And that's what gave us such incredible racing. You know, when we saw Felix going through curve 2 and 18 thousandths of a second in the green and then a few thousandths in the red, for a while it was all to play for. But really that run from Austria was just world class.
Something really special. What a first day of sliding we've seen in Winterberg. We've got Saturday and Sunday to come. It's the men's singles and the team relay that round us off on Sunday. Doubles and the women's singles tomorrow. So before we leave you, here we go. We'll hear from the winners.
Guys, congratulations, an amazing run here on the first World Cup mixed singles. You seem to be flying down there. How was the run for you?
The run for me felt great. It was a really solid run. I think the start was also quite good for me today, so I'm really happy with the result.
We already saw it was quite a tricky race for some people down there. How was the track for you?
For me, it was very skiddy. I don't know. From the training to the race now, it felt way skiddier. But I managed it to be online most of the time, so that was good, yeah. But I think we have a fast setup and we're ready for the races this weekend.
Thank you.
Interesting to hear that it was skiddier than he was expecting. He dealt with it really well. We're still going to hopefully hear from the other pairs. In fact, the Germans are gathering now. They finished in second, Loch and Taubitz, and we'll wait to hear from them. I think we're just about ready. Yeah, here we go.
Guys, congratulations. What a run here. It was the first World Cup here, mixed singles. Tricky conditions here. How was it for you, Felix?
Yeah, the condition was a little bit tricky. So the track is to the end, to us, to the last, is a little bit slower. But it was not a problem. I would say the track is in a really good shape. The track crew do a really good job here. So yeah, I'm looking forward for tomorrow for the single race. But right now, the first race this season, I would say for me it was okay. Some little mistakes. So maybe tomorrow, I have some hundreds, so I can catch me with Jonas for the first place maybe. So yeah, I will do my best tomorrow and then we will see.
Julia, it was really tricky. Your run was quite good actually. How do you feel after the race?
I feel really good. Our start position was not from our lady start, because from the double start, and so it was a little bit slower for us. But tomorrow we have also a training run from the lady start, and yeah, I'm really excited for the race on Sunday.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thanks.
Interesting to hear Julia pick up straight away on that starting position as well, but they're going to have a training run, which is good to hear tomorrow. And we can hear now from the Austria 1 guys.
Guys, congratulations on the podium in this first mixed singles run. How was the track for you?
Yeah, it was great. I already knew it from the doubles race, but I think it was a little bit scarier now. It was getting colder a little bit, and the ice was a little bit harder, I think. But I think the setup and everything was really good and on point. So my run was a little bit rough, but I think we managed it to get on the podium. It was for sure a great success today.
Hannah, we were supposed to be in Eagles today, and now we're in Winterberg here. How was the preparation for you? Did you change anything to be here?
No, I like Winterberg, so I'm having a good time here as well, and I enjoyed sliding today.
So there you go. Oh, what a picture that is. What a fabulous picture that is, by the way, of this wonderful track, the course here at Winterberg. Well done to Austria too. They take the baubles today. Much more to come tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Wolfi, Hanna, gutes Ergebnis beim ersten Mixed Singles Weltcup hier in Winterberg. Wie startet sie mit dem Ergebnis jetzt in die Olympiasaison rein?
Ja, das ist natürlich ein super Auftakt gewesen. Auch im Doppel schon für mich sehr erfolgreich. Und ja, ich glaube, wir hatten es uns vorher nicht gedacht, dass wir da ums Podium mitfahren können. Aber ich glaube, wir haben beide gute Leistung gezeigt. Das Setup war sicher heute am Punkt. Also ich glaube, wir haben alles richtig gemacht. Und von dem her können wir so sicher gut einstarten in die Olympiasaison.
Wir haben es gesehen, es ist ein bisschen eine herausfordernde Strecke gewesen heute. Es hat sehr viele Fehler gegeben. Wie war die Vorbereitung und wie waren dann die Eiskonditionen für dich, Hanna?
Ja, es war natürlich nochmal was anderes, von einer Starthöhe weiter unten zu starten, aber der obere Teil war für mich recht sauber. Unten im Labyrinth habe ich keine Fehler rein, die habe ich von oben auch. Da werden wir morgen im Trainingslauf nochmal anschauen, wie das wirklich geht, und dann kann es starten, das Rennen.
Danke.
Danke.
Und wir haben noch Jonas und Lisa.
Stell dir vor, da schon anzuwerfen.
Auf Sommerroden.
Ja.
Jonas, Lisa, Gratulation, unglaublicher Lauf heute. Es hat ausgeschaut, als wärt ihr da runtergeflogen von der Bahn. Wie waren die Eiskonditionen, wie war der Lauf für dich, Jonas?
Ja, ich glaube, der Start war extrem gut. Ich glaube, darum war ich der Einzige, der vorne oben war. Beim Felix hat es in kurzer umgeschaltet auf grün, aber ich glaube, mein Start war schon mal extrem gut. Und dann war es ein bisschen rutschig, muss ich ganz ehrlich sagen. Vom Training jetzt aufs Rennen, es ist eindeutig rutschiger geworden. Und ich habe es geschafft, den Schlitten meistens auf der Linie zu halten und darum war das so sehr, sehr schnell, glaube ich.
Wie geht es jetzt mit dem Ergebnis in die Saison rein? Olympiasaison, es ist dieser Event zwar kein Olympic Qualifier, es stehen aber noch ein paar Rennen an und wir sind ja im Jänner nochmal hier. Was nimmst du mit von dem Track, Lisa?
Ja, es gibt natürlich viel Selbstvertrauen mit jetzt für die Rennen am Wochenende. Viel Freude aufs Fahren, weil es einfach wieder Spaß macht, Rennen zu fahren. Man muss zwar dazu sagen, das ist jetzt nicht unsere Rennstarthöhe von da unten, aber ich glaube trotzdem, dass der Grundspeed auf jeden Fall passt und freue mich auf die weiteren Rennen der Saison.